I have now lived 15 years past the day I should have died.
When you see a lot of mental illness being expressed, that's a clue that the culture is sick, not the person.
Hey, brother.
Hello, Kevin.
You were the first person to ever say, you know, Kevin, you should talk about this.
Our guest, Kevin Hines, plummeted 200 feet but survived.
Today, I travel the globe spreading a message of hope. Why? Because we know it helps people heal.
There's a huge opportunity as we talk about stories of survival to support people who are out there who are in pain.
I break down on a regular basis. I have symptoms every day. I still have hallucinations, both auditory and visual.
Families of those who jumped from the iconic structure urged to stop the suicides.
One person goes to this bridge to die every 7 to 10 days. I think it's our obligation to stop it.
You go to Paris, go to New York, you go to Istanbul, there are suicide barriers. The more people that know about the horror of that bridge, the more pressure will be put to do something to stop it.
Will this really decrease suicides, you think?
They say things like, why ruin the aesthetics? What are the aesthetics of a bridge compared to one human life?
Kevin Hines, there's no telling how many lives were saved by you because you weren't able to take your own.
Let's get to that place that nobody is being brave who talks about their brain disease. They're just being honest.
My name is Kevin Hines, and this is my story.
I was working in Arizona in mental health, which I've been doing for about 12 years now. One of my colleagues there had discovered the film The Bridge, a movie that was done in San Francisco where a guy basically put cameras on the Golden Gate Bridge and filmed people actually jumping, you know, and kind of to bring light to the issue. And Kevin was the one person featured in the film that had actually jumped from the bridge and survived. And so that was the first, you know, I knew of Kevin's story and heard a little bit about him. And then probably about a year later, I met him at conferences because we both did mental health work. So we'd run into each other at conferences and over the years became friends and both had a passion for film. So we'd talk about that. And then, you know, he talked about doing this documentary. And so that was about 3 years ago. And I came on board and going full force at it since then. So part of the message is around what's called in the mental health field the lived experience, but people who have that personal experience, like Kevin does, sharing that experience, because one, it's very beneficial for those who share it, but other people can hear it and really gain a lot of hope. So, you know, a big message is around hope and around people coming together who have this experience of either, you know, attempting suicide or contemplating suicide themselves. And then another big piece is the family members and the friends who've lost loved ones to suicide, who you know, really ask why, you know, for a lifetime, you know, of why and what could they have done different and what could they have done wrong. And so by hearing Kevin's story and some of these stories of the other people, it's really amazing to see the kind of peace and more understanding that family members can get. So, you know, a big part of the film is that conversation of having that dialogue and recognizing that in order for, you know, Kevin will say, you know, people try to die by suicide because they're hopeless, you know, and so if we can like reverse that by giving people hope and sharing messages of hope, sharing stories of hope, then we can have a really, you know, big impact. Another thing that this film really does, which hadn't so much been done before, really when I started working in the field 10 years ago, it was really pretty much unheard of to have somebody who had attempted suicide involved in kind of, you know, efforts or sharing their story or being part of like suicide coalitions or things like that. That's really changed over the years. And so also within the film, we have some of the nation's, really the world's leading suicide prevention experts. And so really showing the importance of people who have that clinical background as well as people who have that lived experience, personal background, coming together to really try to address the issue. So on Friday, February 23rd, we're holding the world premiere of the film because we've never shown it in a theater yet. And here in Baton Rouge, and we've got some great partners. Baton Rouge Parents Magazine, which has really picked up the issue of suicide as one of their big focuses and has done a lot in their magazine. But they, you know, approached us and wanted to partner, as well as the Louisiana International Film Festival. So those are our main partners with it. But we've also connected with some of the like National Alliance for Mentally Ill, the VA, and some other organizations that we're continuing to build, which we're really bringing together to see the film, but big purpose of the film is yes, we want people to see the film, but we want the film to be a tool to spark further conversations and dialogue so that communities can really utilize the film as an opportunity to enhance suicide prevention.